And it's showtime, baby. Back with another one. Blue is our city, Manchester City fan channel. Man, today we're going to be talking about something that I genuinely hate to talk about, and that's really the Champions League. That's one thing on this channel I really don't talk about. And the reason why is I got to be honest with myself. We have not had success in this competition for a very, very long time. And this competition just divides opinion when it comes to Manchester City, when it comes to Pep Guardiola, when it comes to our history overall. And just to even think about this competition really just gives me a damn headache. And I haven't really spent time talking about the Champions League. And I really want to be honest with you guys as to why I'm going to talk about the expectations of this year's Champions League, what we can do or what we should look forward to this particular year. Obviously, we have to take a look at Pep Guardiola in the Champions League, how he's performed. So we're going to talk about that. But yo, I must say, even before I get into it, man, thank you guys for helping me grow this channel, for helping the community get bigger. Continue to do so. Please, I need your help on my road to growing. I'm trying to do this full time because it's something I actually absolutely love to do. So I want to thank all you guys for your support so far, but continue hitting that like button, continue hitting that share button. And let's get into this video that I absolutely must do, even though I must hate it. It's Manchester City and what we can expect from this year's Champions League. You know, right now we're playing phenomenally well when it comes to the Premier League. We've been on phenomenal run of form. But now that the knockout stages have really kicked into gear, we've passed the first leg, and now the expectations are coming. You know, if you're a Manchester City fan, it's almost that time of year where it's like your heart starts getting heavy. The expectations you feel the expectation a lot more. And that's what I've been feeling lately, just because Mönchengladbach, the result has happened. And now we're in the Champions League. The expectation is just starting to feel so heavy on my heart right now. And I want to talk about why that is. It's because we know as Manchester City fans, we haven't had the best success in this particular competition. Now that this competition is rolling about, I've been looking at all of the banter and all of the chatter out there, and it's starting to happen again to where people are talking about, oh man, what are Manchester City going to do? Oh, what was Pep Guardiola brought into the club to do? And I really want to address that in this video because it's like all the expectations are starting to happen again. I was just watching ESPN FC and it's like, well, this is the round that Guardiola needs to get past. He needs to make it past this. He needs to show everybody that this team can make it past the hurdle. And it's like, all of that expectation is now being brought on our shoulders. Some of it we bring to ourselves, you know, but this expectation for Manchester City when it comes to this Champions League campaign, man, it's not going to be easy. That's the only thing I know. And for me personally, I want to give you guys my expectation of the team for this particular year. And feel free to let me know what you guys are thinking out there. But for me personally, I have no expectation for the Champions League. And I'm going to tell you why. Every time I get invested in this competition, this shit just breaks my heart. And anybody knows that if you watch this channel, I don't do a whole lot of cursing, but this competition is the only competition in the world that makes grown people cry. It literally robs you of all your emotion. And I don't even have time for it anymore. I've seen so much throughout this competition just give us fucking nightmares. And it's really makes me mad, you know, when I really think about this competition. So I've now trained myself to say, look, the only thing I want from this team is a little bit of growth. And what does that growth mean? Let's just get past the quarterfinals. That's all we need to do is get past the quarterfinals. If we get past the quarterfinals, me as a particular Manchester City fan, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm content. I know that that's not good for a lot of City fans out there. I know other City fans want to see firm expectations, but I'm just not getting invested. I'm not getting invested. You know, every year it's like this shit just tears my heart out. We've had our hearts ripped out in a number of different ways. Not getting penalties, missing them, you know, funky lineups, man, not starting people, man, late winners, things that we thought we were going to win against certain teams. And, you know, we thought last year that we was going to catch a break, man. We never catch a break in this competition. So that's just my expectation, man. I think I just have no expectation of this. I'm tired of this competition just ruining my life. And of course, even with that said, if I had realistic expectations, honestly, the only thing I can say is if we make it past the quarterfinal stage, that's the only thing I can look forward to. And I really want to talk about why that is for me personally. The reason why that is for me is that, when you think about Pep Guardiola signing for this club, a lot of people and a lot of that chatter out there was all about, Pep Guardiola had joined Manchester City to do one thing, to bring a Champions League to Manchester City. I would beg to differ. That's just me. I definitely want to know what you guys think out there in the community. Let me know what you guys think. But I thought, now, for instance, we had Pellegrini at the time. We bring in Pep Guardiola. To me, the expectation, there's no way the ownership said, look, Pep Guardiola, we're going to bring you in to do one thing, and we want you to win a Champions League for us. You think that conversation happened? I don't believe that conversation happened. I believe maybe there was a conversation along the lines of, Pep, we want to bring you in to help Manchester City grow, take us to new heights as a football club, develop a philosophy, develop an ethos within the structure of the club. And we want to see success. Now, I can see that much likely happening. So, what does that success, what defines success for you as a Manchester City fan? For me personally, success with our time with Pep Guardiola, he's overachieved for me. And I'm going to tell you why. For me, he's always been brought here to do one thing, and that's to help us get past Everton. If you don't know, Manchester United have the most titles. Liverpool is in second. Arsenal is in third. Then you have Everton, and then now it's us. I think we're above Chelsea now. So I want to ultimately reach Everton's stage of 9 Premier League trophies. If we can do that with our time with Guardiola, that would be great for me, and that would define success. Now, when it comes to the Champions League, don't get me wrong, player. I need to say this clearly. I definitely want to see Manchester City win, not only for the club, not only for the fan base, but the organization all the way down to the members of the squad who and Pep wants to win that for himself. But for me, is it a necessity? No. But if we won, of course, I'm gonna be right there rocking with City. So that's just my expectation. Definitely let you definitely scream at me and let me know what you guys think about out there. But that's just my expectations, man. I'm tired of getting my heart ripped out. Hopefully this season, we can make it to where we need to make it to, and I'm gonna bring that conversation back around. But when we do that, and that kind of takes me on to my second point right here, is City under Pep in the Champions League, man. It's been a roller coaster ride. It really has been a roller coaster ride. I can't really say it's been the best of times. I really can't. It's we won Premier Leagues, but in the Champions League specifically, when you talk about our time, whether it be at round of 16, quarterfinals, just going out and the way we went out, the manners in which we went out. Excuse me. It's definitely been deflating. It's definitely been, heavy on the heart, and it's probably made all City fans cry at some point. But we're really going to have to take a look at why that happened and who that happened with. And, it's important to go back before we talk about what we can expect this year. So I'm going to throw together some pictures here. Bear with me. I'm going to try to get a little bit more interactive here. But I know you guys can remember this time right here before I bring it up. But let's take a look at this. This right here. This right here was something absolutely crazy. So if you don't know what's happening right now, we're talking about the year 2016 2015, 2016, 2017, Guardiola's first year. So if you don't know, Manchester City, no matter what people tell you about out there, and I'll tell you about our European pedigree, we definitely have European pedigree. We definitely have European success. Has not happened for a very, 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 very long time. Some people would argue on technicalities there. I'm not going to get into that. The only thing I can tell you as a Manchester City fan is if you watch this channel, we do our homework, we do our due diligence. So just understand, we do have silverware in Europe. But more specifically, when you talk about the Champions League, and as we look at that underneath Pep Guardiola, this first year definitely stands out. And it stands out because, remember, the previous year we were under a man named Manuel Pellegrini. that got us to the quarterfinal round. I mean, the semifinal round. And, we lost to Real Madrid, I believe, in that quarterfinal round, but we have progressed farther than anything we had ever, made it to in this Champions League, right? So maybe that's where some of that expectation sets in for some people out there, maybe some pundits that will say, you know what, Manchester City, Pep Guardiola was brought here to do this. And maybe that's where they get that from. They say, okay, they made it to the semifinal underneath Pellegrini. So naturally, they brought in Guardiola to help them get them over the hurdle. I don't think that conversation naturally happened, but you can see maybe that was the idea. So now we're going to look at this particular result. And it's one thing you need to point out here. And I'm going to touch upon this heavy. If you guys feel free to let me know if you guys disagree with me when I talk about this. But when you look at this in particular, this team we played against, man, they had some bulldogs out there on this team. And I had an image up, and I don't know if I can find it. I don't want to mess the stream up. I think once I start messing around with StreamYards, things just go crazy. But, they had some bulldogs on this team. But you are expecting, at least I am, right? I'm expecting that we have players who have won titles and won silverware. But was this team the best? No, it wasn't, because it was kind of like an aging team mixed in with some youthfulness, if you think about it. But, we had John Stones, we had Company, we had Otamendi, Fern had been in this team. So we had a lot of people in this team. This team consisted of even Fernando was in this team as well. So you had a few players in this team, and think about, we had Sterling. We're having the mix of Kevin De Bruyne. So we're blending this team with a little bit of the old guard, with a little bit of the new guard, right? But most people on the outside would have looked at it and expected Manchester City to go through. And the bookies at the time, see, I'm over here in America, so I watch it in America. So I watch a lot of ESPN. I don't get a chance to catch Sky News and BT like that, right? But, at the time, the conversation and chatter was, oh, man, Manchester City should definitely go through based on the squad that we had in our previous results. But here we are facing a young team of bulldogs. And you think about Benjamin Mendy, you think about Bernardo Silva. We definitely appreciate what Monaco did and learned our lessons in Monaco when we played Monaco, and that's the reason I brought them over here. But not only did they have them two players, but you talking about Falcao just on another level in this particular round of 16 tie, if you will. But Mbappe, a young 18-year-old Mbappe. This was the first ever time that I saw Mbappe in my life. I didn't get a chance to really watch, French football like that. But I knew a little bit about it, but obviously I watched him in this particular time. And you talking about somebody who's 18, Bakayoko's in this team. They also have Fabinho is in this team. It's like, man, this team was loaded. And here goes your man Jordan over here with these young flying gunners, you know what I mean? That's just the way they was lining up. Sidibe was in this team. I mean, they had all types of young talent that was just hungry. And man, the way that this match almost played out, I think the only thing I can really say about Guardiola was in this time, I think he made an error where I'm not saying it was stubborn, but maybe he just didn't trust Zabaleta. And I forget what happened with Zabaleta at the time. And remember, we had Clichy at this time and Bakr Sanya at this time. And, for some reason, Pep just throw, Inferno out there right back. Thought that was a weird situation. But nevertheless, Monaco just blitzed the hell out of us. I mean, you see Bernardo Silva popping up places. You see Benjamin Mendy flying in places. And, this is kind of one of the points I really want to touch on when I talk about this particular, affair, if you will. Man, Falcao sat John Stones down something so bad. Now, keep in mind, that was a younger John Stones. And this John Stones is much different. But that's going to lead me to something I'm going to talk about later on in the video. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But I think that this was one of the times to where you've seen us just get exposed. John Stones didn't have the best, games against them. But like I said, that was a young John Stones. And it was really with the age of defense team. But we just basically got shredded. But we also had a lot of spunk in there. Man, Sergio Aguero at this time, if you guys can remember, I think Sergio Aguero around 16, 17, him and Guardiola, they used to bump heads all the time. And, we had Gabriel Jesus. So, the story was going to be, Gabriel Jesus was going to be rocking with us in the Champions League. And here comes Aguero in here out of nowhere. Aguero's going out there doing his thing out there. 2 goals in the first leg, I think it was. And man, he just put on a masterful stroke. And we had so many opportunities. This is when we had our man Leroy Sané, you know what I mean? So Leroy was definitely doing this thing, a young Leroy, and that team was so exciting, but the defense was just not there, obviously, in those particular years. But we were probably favored to get through. We didn't get through, and that was that. You know what I mean? And I really want to take a look at. I'm gonna try this out and see how this looks. Looks terrible, but it is what it is. Until I learn how to work OBS, I'm gonna continue using StreamYard like this. Obviously, it's not the best, but bear with me. But when we look at this particular, round, it's definitely we played against Monaco. But when we look at the group stages, we're definitely playing against Barcelona, playing against Mönchengladbach. Look at that. Funny enough, how things repeat themselves. And I think that's some of the correlation that we might see, particularly this year. It's like everything feels like nostalgic to me. That's the reason why I wanted to talk so much about this Champions League. If you look at it now, it's 2016, as I think about, there's a lot of similarities between that year and this year that we're having in the Champions League. And I'm going to get to that later. So we ended up losing, right? We ended up losing that particular year. It's fine. No big deal. Guardiola just got here, has to put his time on there. You know what I'm saying? We just have to learn how to do what we need to do. So we lost to Monaco that particular year. And man, it was just heavy on the heart when we lost to them. And it was brutal, man. I mean, just seeing that picture and the way that he just sat John Stones down at that time. And like I said, that was a young John Stones, but you had Vincent Company, you had Otamendi. Otamendi was just sliding everywhere. Your man was just slipping, sliding everywhere. But that's just what it was that particular year. So keep in mind, that's Pep's first year. We can't really expect too much of him. So we didn't make it past, Monaco in the round of 16. The following year, now as we talk about this year, keep in mind, this is the end result, but this was the Centurion season. So as we talk about the Centurion season, we are playing phenomenally, 100 points. I mean, we're flying. Coming into this Champions League, everybody said, City should be finding their gear because they're equating what we do in the Premier League versus what we do in the Champions League. And anybody that knows Pep Guardiola, and I was not critical of Pep Guardiola. Like I said, if anybody's watching this, just know that I said, Pep, it's his first year. I'm not putting all those expectations on him. But going into the second year, this was when the Centurion season happened. Expectations start to mount. Everybody's talking. Not only is the Craig Burley's talking of the world, we have Manchester City fans and other fans talking about, he has to make it past the capture the Champions League. That's the only way Manchester City are going to have the success. Richard Keys is going at him. Everybody's setting all these expectations. But if you're a City fan or you remember these games, remember there was a lot of mistakes. And I'm not going to be overly critical of Guardiola, but I think that this is where people start to question him a lot. And this is where I think it started. So this particular match, and honestly, out of all the Champions League matches that we've had, this is the one that I would say we absolutely had no shot in because we were flying phenomenally in the Premier League. But Liverpool, this was the Liverpool that came back in. This was the 1920 Liverpool, the one that we just happened to play this particular year, because Liverpool understands this more than any other team besides Manchester City. When you first get a certain number of players into your squad and you implement a certain ethos and a philosophy, which is high pressing, that's what Liverpool did to us, man. They came out in this game. It just totally overran us. I mean, this was heavy metal club football. This is exactly what happened. And I think it just overwhelmed us. Now, keep in mind, we go to Anfield. We have not had success in Anfield since, I know we won this year, so don't get me wrong, but prior to this competition and this match, we had not won at Anfield since May 2003. But when we go into this particular match, I mean, God, we just got blitzed right off the field. There was a lot of talk about, remember we went to Anfield? They were out there acting rambunctious. I'm not going to really talk bad about Liverpool fans, but Liverpool fans know how Liverpool fans can be. They can be rather aggressive. And it started when we went to Anfield. They're throwing things at the bus. I mean, they're naturally loud when you go to their stadium. So they pumped up, but breaking glasses on our bus. And then I don't know what the hell Pep was thinking. I get what he was thinking. Let me just be clear. I get what he was thinking. But why they doubted him at the time was this was the particular match that he chose not to start Raheem Sterling. I can get why he chose not to do it because everybody knows Raheem Sterling prior to this year it just doesn't happen when he plays Liverpool. It just doesn't happen. I'm so glad he got that out of his system this year, but previously it just had not happened. And then all the chatter was like, oh my God, why did he not start Raheem Sterling? He's starting to overthink things. And to be honest with you, we didn't have a shot in hell at beating Liverpool because Mendy was in this team. He was sliding around everywhere. We didn't see John Stones. This is the one series that we did see a lot of John Stones in this particular quarterfinal match. And that's going to bring me to another point I'm going to talk about later. So remember in the previous series against Monaco or the previous round of 16, John just didn't have the best time. Yes, he was a young John Stones, but Pep Guardiola did not trust him. And it's hard to get Pep Guardiola's trust again. And I think that that's where Pep Guardiola lost a little bit of trust in John. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on. But in this particular round, if you will, of knockout round competition, Mendy was there. We just didn't have things going the way we needed to go. I mean, we basically just got mopped. Any way you slice it, we got mopped. Fair enough. But all the chatter is, how can Manchester City be doing this? They're going out there winning the Premier League. Then they going to run up in Liverpool. Liverpool smacks them up. So all the chatter again is about Guardiola this, Guardiola that. Oh, is he? They didn't really start talking about being overhyped. After this is where the meter and the pressure start to tick up a little bit when it comes to talking about Pep Guardiola in the Champions League. Granted, we did not play well. I will be honest with you in that. Now, hold up. Before I did that, if I did Monaco and I talked about the table, I need to talk about, hopefully you guys can see this. Until I learn how to work StreamYard a little bit better, it's important to know that in this particular round, we did fairly well when it came to the group stages. But when it came to Liverpool, as you can see, we got smacked up there as I particularly, as I motivated and kind of pivot a little bit until the next year. But man, that's just what it was against Pep Guardiola. So honestly, I had a mixed bag. Like I said, when it came to Pep Guardiola in the Champions League, I had a mixed bag about him, but I always believed that he could do it. First year, I cut him a little slack. Second year, I was a little disappointed, but we all was gassed up off the hype of the Centurion season. So in my honest opinion, it wasn't the end of the world. But now we're starting to see this pressure mount up on Pep Guardiola, right? Because of the Champions League. Whew. Now it brings me to this. And this is just why I say I hate this competition. I really do hate this competition. This is the only competition that makes grown-ups cry. It really does make people cry because, let me paint the picture this particular year. So now when it comes to this particular year, we're in a dog fight with Liverpool. So Liverpool smacks us up in the quarterfinal stages of the Champions League round the previous year. Now we in this dog fight with Liverpool. We got Kevin De Bruyne out for most of the year. You know what I'm saying? Things are just not going right the way that they need to. And all of a sudden we play Spurs. And anybody can remember what's very vital is what I can remember about this particular time. And let me know where you guys stand on this. This was when we played Spurs, I think, 3 out of 4 weeks. We had to play them twice in the Champions League. We had to play them once in the Premier League. And this was my expectation going into the game. I didn't care. I'm just going to be honest and say I did not care because I wanted us to win that Premier League because it's hard for me as a Manchester City fan to get so involved in the Champions League. Every time I get involved, it rips my heart out. And this one did not disappoint as far as ripping my heart out again. So all of a sudden, we're beating them. We get the win. We get the win that we needed. So like I said, we played them 3 out of 4 weeks. If you can remember, if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but I really believe it was 3 out of 4 weeks. We beat them in the league, right? Then we played them the first match, and it was a 1-0 win with Son, I believe, scoring a goal. But it was the way we played. God, it was like that. You could even recognize that Manchester City. And it was like, what were we trying to do? Were we trying to go defensive? I don't know what we were doing. Absolutely not. I have no clue. I wanted to say maybe it was some bad luck because we played them ugly purple jerseys, man. Maybe it was just that, but it was just terrible. And then all of a sudden, in the second leg of the competition, it rips your heart out even more. In the second leg of the competition, you got all types of things happening. Not only in this competition or in this particular quarterfinal, we're missing penalties. Balls are hitting arms. Laporte is making all types of mistakes. And that's going to touch upon. If you're watching this, you can see how I'm really going to set this up for later. So Laporte is just making all types of mistakes. And I'm not going to blame the whole quarterfinal on Laporte, but keep in mind, this was a younger Laporte. He's learning his lessons. And this particular Laporte is not probably as good, that particular Laporte, rather, wasn't as good as far as communication. I think that's one of the things Laporte always has to work on is his communication. But in this particular quarterfinal, I mean, he just didn't have it going on. He seemed a little nervous, but solid during the year, but just seemed nervous with the overall emotion of this particular competition. Then we get into the second leg, and it's just every type of way you can get effed over. It just happened, and I'm not saying that to make excuses. I'm just saying we're missing penalties. We're having things go against us. I mean, we're having goals being chalked off. I mean, all types of stuff can happen. And it just ripped my heart out. And I want to show an illustration of maybe how some of the team members felt. And this is very important. I'm going to tell you why. This was Kevin's face after this particular match. And as you can see there, Kevin's hurt. He's hurt. He's hurt this particular year. He's hurt. He's hurt. And it's because it's going to lead up to what we're going to talk about in the upcoming year, right? So because it's just the way we lost. So we lose against Monaco in some offensive thriller with, lack of no defense. We lose against Liverpool just by them just swarming us like a bunch of killer bees when we normally swarm other teams, and we just kind of fold due to that heavy metal rock and roll style football that club likes. But then we lose to Tottenham in a whole nother way that's just more emotionally draining on your soul, on the players. And when I saw Kevin's face there, knowing how hard this particular loss was on him, I think it explains, and this is the reason why I showed that particular illustration or that particular picture, is it now explains what Kevin's mentality is. So there's been a lot of chatter out there in City fans. And I want to tell City fans, look, don't worry. The man's going to sign the contract. No question about that. I firmly believe he's going to sign a contract. But this is where Kevin is smart, and I give him credit. Kevin does his own contracts. He's his own agent. When you do your own contracts, you do your own negotiations, if you will. You're your own agent. Not only do you save money because you don't have to pay somebody else to do it, but it takes you time to do the contracts. I mean, I'm a big fan of NBA basketball living over here in America, and we've had players throughout the years who do their own contracts. They tend to do it in the off seasons. They always do it in the off season. You're never really going to catch them doing it in the season. But this is what Kevin's probably thinking about. That loss hurt so much to him that he is now in a mindset of we have to progress in the Champions League. Doesn't mean he's going to leave, but I think we are seeing that Kevin is tired of losing in the Champions League. The man is not getting any younger. He's got the Premier League, trophies. He's getting closer with Belgium as far as on that world stage football. He's world class as far as overall talent. You know what I mean? But that piece of hardware, that piece of that trophy is something that he definitely needs. So I think he's definitely going to sign the contract, but it's going to take me into what I'm going to talk about next. And I just wanted to show you that picture because that's where it starts. So now as City fans, as we go into the next year, now we tell ourselves, okay, This is the weirdest year ever in 100 years. It's the weirdest year ever. So we lost for one particular year for one reason. We lose another year for another reason. We lose against Tottenham in an emotional, heartbreaking fashion. But then all City fans start to say, well, hold up, this could be the year. Why could this be the year? Excuse me, because now we can focus. We're not going to win the Premier League. We're not going to win the Premier League. Liverpool's obviously, going to wrap up the league because they're just blitzing everybody. But it's weird as far as the restart and then starting and stopping. This is the time to where we can win it because the circumstances are different, right? And this is the only year that it's a one-leg affair. So we get in our mindset and we say, look, out of all the teams we can play, in this particular competition, which year is that? Oh, that's this year. No, it's Leon. So we get past Real Madrid. So out of all the years, everybody is saying, yo, you know what? We've had that good win. We played against Real Madrid. We beat Real Madrid in the round of 16. You have to beat the best in order to be the best. That's what we're telling ourselves. So we now got that momentum. We buzzing knowing that we beat Real Madrid in the fashion that we beat Real Madrid in, right? So now we going in there, we saying, oh, long as we don't get buy-in right now, right? So we get a Lyon, we get Olympic Lyon. So we tell ourselves, oh man, this could be the one year because the circumstances are different. Manchester City got to do it. But remember, now the expectation, the pressure is mounting, not necessarily just from City fans, but all the pundits, all the commentators, all the other channels. Oh, Guardiola's great, but he can't win the big one for Manchester City. Oh, he overthinks everything. Oh, he gets caught up in his own world. So all these expectations are now starting to mount. So everybody's saying, yo, this is the year. If he doesn't get it done this year, City have to look at making other moves. But as a Manchester City fan, for me, it was heartbreak. It was heartbreak hotel when I look at this one. And I will say it's different type of heartbreak hotel for this one. That one hurt so bad because it was a one-leg affair, in my opinion. When you look at the way that they scored goals, man, they scored goals just from following up shots, just from our lack of defense. And, we weren't as solid defensively because we had Emerick Laporte. I think Emerick Laporte was better, but yeah, we were still making mistakes. I mean, it was just all types of heart-wrenching types of goals that they scored. I remember, I forget the name of the player, but they take a shot on goal. Edison saves it, and then all of a sudden one of their other attacking players just slots it in, and next thing you know, they go down and they score on counterattacks, and I'm just like, oh my God, not again. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, yo, grown men cry. When it comes to the Champions League, grown men cry. I don't care what nobody tells you. And this one, yo, it had everybody crying. And if you remember at the end of this particular match, remember I showed you the graphic about Kevin, and that's where I'm building this stage to. Kevin was asked directly after the game about, what happened out there. Only thing that sits in my head, I have not rewatched this replay. I have not watched post-game commentary again, but I can distinctively remember in my mind Kevin saying, it's just another win, and we lose in the same stage. We lose in the same point. And he was absolutely livid and pissed. And I think that's where he is. I'm not saying that that's where he's at now, but you got to remember where Kevin is personally right now. This year, he's been there, but he's not scoring. He's still getting the assists. But he wants to see us progress in the Champions League. I'm not saying, I don't even think Kevin cares if we win it. Yes, Kevin wants to win it from being a competitor. Pep wants to win it just so because Pep wants to win it. The club want to win it because we've been trying to do it for so long now. It's the one thing that we don't have, right? We want that seat at the table because we believe in our mind as Manchester City that if we get one Champions League, we're going to get that seat at the table. I'm going to tell you this. We have a seat at the table right now. But if there are a room full of board of directors, there are executive board of directors. Those just happen to be for right now the Bayern Munichs of the world, the AC Milans of the world. I know AC Milan's not rocking now, but historically, the Real Madrids of the world, teams like that, they have, United has won, Liverpool, they have multiple, and for us to get that, we got the seat at the table now with Atletico Madrid, but we're never really going to be respected until we get that. That may be fair amongst some people, but for me as a City fan, I'm happy and I just want to see progression in the Champions League. Let's make it past the quarterfinals. And I think that that's what Kevin wants to do. Kevin's not saying, bro, we need to win it. I think he wants to see us progress if he's going to sign a new contract. I think the man definitely will. But that's the one thing I love about Kevin. He knows that it hurt losing to Tottenham. Hurt all the other previous years too. But Kevin wasn't the same Kevin as he was over the last few years. Kevin right now is in like his prime position. So he wants to see us progress, and Guardiola has to deliver that progression this year. And once he does that, I believe that's when we'll definitely see Kevin sign that contract. So I'm going to go back to this. And this is what I've been leading up to so far. So we got to look at right now. Who do you not want to face? Because we've been talking about the Champions League here. If you look at all of us now, and I'm going to show where we're currently at right now and the teams that we might be facing. So when you look at us right now, yes, we have a 2-goal advantage. But as a Manchester City fan, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, I know some cocky Manchester City fans. I watch other City fan channels. I show them guys love all the time. I watch other fan channels too. But I know that there's some cocky Manchester City fans out there that are cockiest, but they know this competition, you can't sleep on anything. Everything is out the window. Everything is out the window. Everything you thought about, everything you knew about is out of the window when it comes to this particular competition, as far as being Manchester City, because it's such an emotional affair. And we have lost in every type of fashion with this particular competition. So let's look again at the teams we possibly can face. Out of those teams, right, it's safe to say Barcelona may not go through. You're probably hoping that Porto can hold through against Juventus. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to tell you the teams I definitely don't want to face. And this is where I think that these UEFA people, they hate us. They absolutely hate us. And then not only with the whole lawsuit and, them looking into our affairs and dealing with that, bro, they going to try to stick it to us so good right now and give us the worst thing that they possibly can do right now. I really think that they are going to do that, but they are not stupid enough to put us in, hypothetically, if we get past Mönchengladbach, they are not dumb enough to put us against Bayern. I don't think that they would do that, because that would make primetime television and us reuniting with the old friend who now has a mustache. Shout out to you. We will always miss you. You're always going to be one of us. And throughout most of the years I'm talking about, you've been on our team. So shout out to you, Leroy. I see you, player. Always City legend, for real. But, they're not going to put us there. We already seeing Chelsea has a 1-0 victory, 1-0 win against, they got 1-0 right now against, Atleti. Don't want to play Atletico Madrid. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to play them. But maybe it might suit us. Who knows, right? I don't want to play them. But the one thing I know is, wouldn't it just be our type of luck, right? Our type of luck. See, if Chelsea get through Atletico Madrid, then we play Chelsea. What type of luck would that be? We played Liverpool in the quarterfinals recently. We played Tottenham in the quarterfinals. I bet you anything, hypothetically, if Chelsea magically get through Atleti, don't be shocked if they put us against Chelsea. Just to see what can happen. Literally for shits and giggles. I really believe that they would do something like that. And that could be crazy. So that's just who... I don't think I want to play Chelsea right now. I really don't. I don't want to play Bayern. But, if we in the quarterfinals, man... it's going to be tough about who we can play. It's really going to be tough about who we can play. But out of all of those teams, I don't know who you want to play. But the question's on you guys, because as you can see right now, I'm not going to answer the question. Only thing I can tell you is I know I don't want to face Bayern right now. It would be much better television if we face them hypothetically, magically, somehow, some way in the finals. And I think that would be spectacular. But who knows? But I would love to see that. I don't want to play necessarily Atletico Madrid because of the way that they play football. And remember, the way that they tore Liverpool apart last year, you got to believe that they're going to come out a little bit differently against Chelsea in that second leg. But Chelsea's been performing well under Thomas Tuchel. So you never know. Now, this is what I'm leading up to. This whole video is all about this. Who starts? This is the reason why I made this video, why I made this live stream, whatever. Yeah, when you look at Manchester City right now, we have so many forward players, and everybody knows we're playing this weird dynamic of football to where midfielders, 5 front players, 6 front players. It's really 5 front players. They mix it up against the lines. You didn't really see much of that Sergio did today against the Premier League, because keep in mind, Sergio is now just coming back into the team. But when you look at Manchester City squad, let me name some of these players for you. Riyad Mahrez, Raheem Sterling, Sergio Aguero, Gabriel Jesus, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva. How many is that? 7? Man, am I at 7 right now? I'm at 7? Bro, 5 of those players have to play. Who is he going to pick? And when I pose this question of who starts, I'm only talking about hypothetically if we get past Mönchengladbach, because that's where I believe. And not to mention Torres. I didn't even say Torres. That's 8 players right there. That's 8 forward players right there. Torres has been holding us down in the Champions League. In my opinion, Torres may be that unknown factor that we need. Remember when we had Leroy, especially in 16-17, we played against Monaco. Yes, we lost, but Leroy was sensational in that. Leroy used to be the most predictable type of player I've ever seen in my life, to where you knew he was going to get the ball on the left side and just run at you. But the way he would run at you, he would just leave defenders not knowing what the hell to do. And I believe that that's what Torres can bring in the Champions League. Not the Premier League. The Premier League is a different story. But when he's been in the Champions League, the man has been money, and he's been holding us down. And that could be due to the fact that we had injuries during the previous parts of the year. But he may play a vital role in that. So the offensive players need to work themselves out. And I have no clue about who's going to start there. But what I really want to talk about is who starts defensively. So now, I touched upon the year 2016 or 17 in this video. John Stones didn't have it, and to John's credit, John is asked to be a young leader at that time, and he may have not been a leader. I remember Ali Moreno talking so bad about him on ESPN FC, talking about, oh man, he was supposed to be the next big defender because everything is associated with a price tag, and that makes me, I need to remember about that, about Pep Guardiola, his price comments talking about money. He should have left that alone. But point being is that at that time, Ali Moreno was talking about, oh, they brought in John Stones. They spent all this money. He's supposed to be their next greatest, central defender coming up. But that John Stones was a very young John Stones. And then there were times when John played with Vincent Kompany. He looked solid, like he was ready to take that fold. But Vincent Kompany wasn't available for this particular game. So now he has to play with Otamendi. Otamendi, one thing you know about Otamendi, the man is slip and slide everywhere. Not talking about him in a bad way, because Otamendi's been good for this team throughout the years. So I don't like to really bash other players, but I know that he was slip and slide everywhere. Your man was just slipping and sliding everywhere he possibly could go. But the point I really want to make more so than anything is simply this. Is that you can't ask that young John Stones to be taking leadership from Otamendi, where who knows what those communication levels were like at that time. So maybe that's the reason why Falcao was just slicing him up the way he was. And then keep in mind, Falcao's a senior professional at that particular moment. So that's where John was. And ever since then, I'm not too sure Pep Guardiola has trusted John Stones in the Champions League. Let me know out there. Do you think that I can't remember John Stones playing against Liverpool in the quarterfinals? Nope. I don't think I remember John Stones playing against Tottenham. Nope. I don't remember that. I don't remember John Stones playing last year. Point being is, and I could be wrong on all of that, by the way. So definitely you out there in the community, correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think John Stones has been trusted when it came to the Champions League ever since that moment. And there's one thing about Pep Guardiola. That man don't forget shit. I'm telling you, he does not forget certain things. If you stunk up the joint against Tottenham, I mean, yeah, he did it with Emerick Laporte this year, but if you stunk up the joint with a particular team, he tends to not play you again versus that team. If you did good versus that particular team, that man will remember that for 10 years and keep putting you in that team. Versus that team, you are automatic starter. But I'm not too sure in this case. Pep, please correct me if I'm wrong out there. But a lot of people were out there talking about, oh man, why is he playing Emerick Laporte in the Champions League? I don't know. I can't answer that question. But one thing I could tell you is that the man tends to not trust when something goes wrong. So that was what John's situation there was back then. But now Guardiola has trusted John a little bit and brung John back into the fold after going cold basically for 2 years, right? So now he's brought John back into the fold. And let's just be honest with ourselves and cut the nonsense. Ruben Diaz starts. So Ruben Diaz starts. It's only one other spot player. It's only one other spot. So the question is, who starts? So he didn't trust John there. Now when we look at Emerick Laporte has had trouble in the Champions League, specifically against Tottenham. He was not good against Tottenham, specifically in that particular year. So now if he's not playing Tottenham right there, I'm like, yo, what is he really going to do? And in my opinion, I think the reason why you see him playing Laporte this particular year, combination of factors. One is that he believes Emerick Laporte provides a little bit of that natural width. Because keep in mind, when you play John Stones and you play Ruben Diaz, you got two right-footed center backs, even though it looks brilliant, but I believe that that's the reason why Pep is not doing it. That's just in my humble opinion. If you disagree with me, feel free to let me know out there. But that's just what I believe. But Emerick Laporte has made mistakes, but I believe he will continue to play Emerick Laporte. And if it's me, I understand why he does it. But I know that John's been money again. My point is, I don't care. I just want to see solid team defense. I want to see Pep not overthink it. And this is really a message to Pep. Pep, whatever John did back there, it happened back there. If you feel the need to say, look, I'm going to trust John in this next round, don't doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. You can't go back. If that's the decision you made, you live and die by that decision. Because no matter what you do, the chatter is going to be Guardiola overthinking things, changing this. They're going to find something wrong to say about you, no matter what you do. So you're better off just saying, you know what? This is the lineup I'm going with. We know Diaz is going to start, but whoever he chooses, and I think he's made a decision. Don't be surprised if you see Emerick Laporte and you see Ruben Diaz in the Champions League. That doesn't mean anything's wrong with John. It doesn't mean the end of the world. I heard things about people slandering Emerick Laporte. I can't say it's true. I didn't see anything about that, but I've heard about a lot of it on my Reddit and people saying that. It's like, bro, grow up, bro. The reason why he does it is because Pep is not, he does tend to tinker with things a lot, but he really believes in natural width, especially since he's been at Manchester City. So if he puts Emerick Laporte in there, it's really more of a decision that he just wants that natural width, because we see that you're going to have Cancelo more than likely playing left back. And I wanted to talk about Benjamin Mendy because in 16, I'm not going to even go into that right now, but back in 16, against Monaco, Benjamin Mendy was killing our asses. That's the reason why we signed him. So if people doubt and start talking nonsense about him, that man tore us up back then and there. So we're not going to see Benjamin Mendy, but we might see João Cancelo playing left back, Emerick Laporte providing support from the natural center back position, playing the left side of the center back. You're going to have Ruben Diaz playing the right side, and you're going to have Kyle Walker, the speed merchant, right there, right next to him. And that's Guardiola's simple decision when it comes to the back four. If he does not play John in the Champions League, it's not the end of the world. It just means that he trusts John for one thing, and that may be the Premier League. But if he rocks with him, Guardiola, I would love to see you do it. I personally do not believe you're going to do it, and I won't be shocked if you go out there and I see Laporte and Diaz. I don't think other people should be shocked out there. But if you make that decision, live and die by that decision, Pep. You can't go into, one leg, the first leg with John and then let's say Emerick Laporte and then Diaz. Whatever that first result is, you cannot change in the second leg. You can't do it. You cannot do it because no matter what happens, they're going to doubt you. And just with the luck that we have had, the one thing Pep Guardiola has got to do is not think about absolutely anything. He's already reached that point. He even talked about it. I think after Gladbach, he talked about the need to not overthink, and I think that that's what we're seeing right now because the story has always been about our defense throughout all the years in the Champions League under Pep Guardiola. All the talk's really been about defense, right? So now we're defensively solid. But Pep, do not put the pressure on yourself because that's all they want to do. All the pundits, the Richard Keyses, the Craig Burleys of the world, those people, they're going to put pressure on you no matter what you do. So don't overthink it. You have the staff there. You have everything you need. Just don't overthink it. And I think we'll be fine. But that's what this video is about. I wanted to bring a quick video to you guys, to not so much a quick video, but a video letting you guys know my expectations for the Champions League this year. Let me know what your expectations of the Champions League this year is. For me personally, I'm glad that we got Guardiola. Guardiola has brought us, as Manchester City, potentially 3 Premier Leagues in 5 years. Potentially, 3 years, what is it? 3 and 6, 3 and 5, whatever. Point is that if he does that, he has achieved. Yes, he has not taken us to where we need to go in the Champions League, but I never thought we hired Pep Guardiola to win us a Champions League. I thought we hired him for continual success, a philosophy, a ethos, a culture, a dynamic at this club. And that's what we have right now. So the only thing I ask for Pep Guardiola, because I do not believe in this competition, like I said, rips your heart out and makes grown people cry. I am tired of crying when it comes to this competition. So the only thing I want to see us do is get past the quarterfinals. But in order to get past the quarterfinals, we got to get past Mönchengladbach. I'm confident we will, but whatever you do, Pep, going into that next round, live and die by your decisions. Don't overthink things and just know it's going to be a success for you anyway, because hopefully we'll have a Premier League. We'll get to what we need to do in the Champions League and then kick on and go from there, re-up your contract, do the things we need to do. Steady growth. It's not going to happen for us as Manchester City fans. We're not all of a sudden going to win the Champions League. Nothing City has ever done has been easy. It's never been easy for us, especially in the competition in the Champions League. That's the last point I need to bring up. So everybody's been talking about all this money talk. Oh, man, Manchester City, their squad. I mean, I was watching the West Ham game today. I saw something on Twitter. They started talking about how much money was on our bench. On this channel, we keep it real. So I got to keep it real with you guys too, right? Pardon me. I know that we spent mad money. We spent mad money as a collective. But we are not the club that just goes out there and signs $100 million players. Now, some people could argue and say that's BS because we have spent a little bit more on Diaz and Laporte. But that's kind of like inflationary times a little bit, when it comes to dealing with transfers outside of this year, because we know that prices have been a little bit down in the market, but at that particular time, everything was rocket. If you remember, if you know anything about stocks, it was like everything was on the high. Now is the only time you can really buy on the dip right now. But at that particular time, Manchester City, we defined it. We made buying on the dip. That's what we did. Or we bought before inflation really happened. And that's the way we spent our money. We spent our money by buying $50 million players. It wasn't like, we spent, $100 million on one particular player. We might have spent $50 million on a left back, $50 million on the right back. Get Bernardo Silva for like $50 million. Get Raheem Sterling for like $50-40 million. So we've done good business. Riyad Mahrez, we spent a little bit of money for. Laporte, we spent a little bit of money for. And I think our max right now is actually Diaz. You know what I mean? So we're not a club that just goes out there and spends mad money, but we do have a balanced squad. The point I'm trying to make here is everybody wants to talk about Manchester City spends all this money. Yo, and they're an oil club. You know how disrespectful that is? It's disrespectful. And some people, I'm not going to say that we're an oil club. I think that's mad disrespectful. But we are a finance club, and share with you a little bit of history. That's what all this stuff right here is about. But the point is that we've always been a financial club. That's the way you should look at it. If I'm a Manchester City fan, and as I became a Manchester City fan, I had to go back and do my due diligence. But all of our highs, all of our lows, all of our successes, and all of our failures, as a Manchester City fan, has really been about finance and money, stabilization. That's all it's been about. You could think about the times that was right around 60, 70, especially like right around 70, right around 1970. Ooh, Manchester City's hit those heights. Then all of a sudden, financial decisions are made. One decision is not made, another decision is made. Club is right there on the cusp of being a big club, but lost a little bit of the finance necessary to stabilize. Now we have this particular ownership group. Yes, they are wealthy, but the only thing that they have brought in is not oil money. They brought in financial stability. So that's our point. Pep, don't go around inviting conversations. You don't have to, player. If they ask you a question like that, Pep, please don't give that answer again, because those people will use that against you. If you want to say, hey, yes, we spend wisely, go ahead, say that. But don't turn sarcasm into something else. And I think it was light for you to do that. And I'm not saying it was a big deal, but just know that they will use that against you. So that's just who we are as Manchester City. Hopefully we can get the job done within the Champions League. And people out there worried about Kevin De Bruyne signing that contract, don't worry, he will sign the contract. But Kevin De Bruyne is smart, and I salute him for this. He wants to see progression in the Champions League before he signs that contract. I'm all good with that because it holds people responsible. It doesn't mean that if we don't get past, he's going to walk out. So pump the brakes. He's not going to walk out. But the man wants to see progression. That's what I believe will happen this year. Let me know out there if you guys like the content. Please feel free to hit the like button, but also feel free to get at me. Let me know what you guys think about what Manchester City's expectations should be for this particular year in the Champions League. I'll see you guys. I think I'm going to see you guys maybe tomorrow. I'm trying to do this a little bit more full time. I just started 2 months ago, trying to bring more energy into City and get City a bigger presence over here in America, so that way we can, link up with our peoples overseas. So until next time, peace. We out.